You're done. You're washed. It's over.
WPA, prepare to have your ears tortured. It's From the Front Row with Johnathan T. Rokford. Yes, Flip, that remix does slap. What's up, folks? It's me, Johnathan T. Rokford, here with another edition of From the Front Row. Great American Bash is over, folks. I'm sorry if we seem a little perturbed. That game changer match, I'm sorry. Not the first one. First one was over just like we expected. But the second one, folks, it should not have taken that long for that match. You know, and I would normally say no disrespect, but I'm sorry, when you say no disrespect, somebody's going to take it as a disrespectful comment. That match should have been over like Fat Thomas's sex life. Should have been just quick and over. We should have had about 3 matches last week. 3, 4, maybe. No, 2. Do better, champ. Anyway, Jermaine Walker is still our game changer champion after finally defeating Lycan Umbras. I don't know if he was toying with them. God. You know, the funnier thing was, and I'll get to that in a minute. El Presidente was fighting Polish Power, and Polish Power decided to go ahead and take the referee's 10 count since El Presidente didn't show when the bell rang. Now, what do you mean, what am I? Why are you always worried about what I'm drinking? I'm drinking a probiotic. You know, my stomach has been upset lately. What did I say? Oh, yeah. So he took the 10 count and was declared the winner. And, yeah. And, by the way, I hear he's getting a good opportunity coming up this week. Now, our next match featured the Brasso taking on the Ronin, Shona Campbell, and I keep saying she's going to turn that corner, but I'm still waiting. It's like she's at the world's longest red light. She might need to go back down, talk to whoever she was talking to. We're waiting for the Ronin to show back up. It's getting bad, folks. I mean, you can only wait for so long before you just go, hey. She'll never give up. She's a fighter. But we'll see. Now, in our next match, it was the Emperor, 2K Anomalium, versus the Blueprint, Jackson Aries. And Jackson Aries was able to defeat the Emperor in a laugher of a match that probably should have been a dark match. The poor crowd was treated to just, Well, I said, didn't I? Well, I said Shona was facing the brass hole. She lost. Didn't I? No, Flip, don't play with me. I know I said it. Now, after that, Fat Thomas was taking on the Master Sean Puff. You know, the Sean Puff who one moment was declaring they were going to win Tag Team Turmoil, and then when he didn't win, just went, oh, I didn't get pinned. That was a trash move. But he did pin Fat Thomas. Took a lot to get those shoulders down because, you know, I don't think he adjusted for the girth of Fat Thomas when he went to go pin him, but it is what it is. Now, Sean Puff's Tag Team Turmoil partner, Badass Eddie Vendetti, didn't see his opponent show up. So, he thought he would go down and sit on commentary, and just as he got comfortable, the lights dimmed, and you could hear storm sounds coming across the PA system, and his opponent showed up. Needless to say, the Badass handily defeated his opponent, Cloudy Diggs. I don't know. He might as well not shown up. A very underwhelming performance. Most of the, I mean, like even the Mike Contra versus the First Lady Alexa Leslie. I mean, that one went to a time limit draw. I don't know, folks. The singles matches that had no implications for anything were just meh. Crowd was starting to get a little antsy, like a little agitated. But the reason why we didn't have any high marquee matches was because everybody of some kind of value was actually involved in either a contender match or a title match. And of course, we did have the finals for a Tag Team Turmoil. So our first number one contender match was to decide who would face the Triple Threat Champion this week. And that was the Machete Ramos and the Idol Steve Sampson and the Pinnacle of Humanity, Adrian Christopher Christian, whatever the hell his name is. It's too damn long. But it didn't matter because he had no effect in the match whatsoever as the Idol pinned Machete. Yeah. It's like the Pinnacle wasn't even there. Does he ever matter? I mean, you get that long-ass name. I mean, what's the deal with that name? The P-O-H, the Po. The Po. He's the Po-Po. Adrian C. The Po-Hack. I don't know if he had previous names. We call him Pac, I guess. The P-A-C. No, there's somebody named Pac. There's too many people named Pac. Now, and match 2 was Crusher LB versus Chaos versus Hakeo. Jason Shepard, not Shepard. Shepard. It was Shepard, not Shepard. And happy birthday, Hakeo. And for his birthday, Chaos pinned him to move on. So, the Idol, Steve Sampson, and Chaos will be moving on to the championship match. You see what I did there? That was kind of cool, right? Yeah, I know. Now, in our next number one contender match, it was determined who would go on to face the Intercontinental Champion. It was Mac Blakely taking on Lycan Umbris. And Lycan Umbris must have still been a little bit tired following that long game changer match. And Mac Blakely took advantage because he was well rested and defeated Lycan Umbris. How many losses is that for Lycan Umbris? How is he still ranked so high in the rankings? I mean, the guy below him beat him and then just lost. He's got to be moving down. He's got to. I'm sorry, folks. It just But congratulations to Matt Blakely. You know, most people would have said he deserved to have just a rematch. But if you'll recall, the admin, instead of giving him a rematch, gave him a world title shot. So the fact they actually put him in a number one contender match to go back for the title they lost says a lot. Trust the process, folks. Now, that was the only number one contender matches we had, because the other contenders would be decided through Tag Team Turmoil, and 2 contenders are still waiting for their TV title match with Jermaine Walker. But the Trios champions were up, and one of those, Cats and Corey, is in contention for the TV title. But first, he would team up with the Messiah and Captain Mexico as they took on the champions Wolf Knight, Street Fight King, and Shepard Bane. Not Shepard. Shepard Bane. And Cats and Corey would pin Wolf Knight to help his team become the new Trios champions. Could this be a sign? Could he become a champ? Well, that's true. They are facing Jermaine Walker. Well, we'll see. It's hard to beat 2 people in. Nah, it's not. We've seen JP DiMaggio do it before. We saw Beast do it. No reason why Jermaine Walker can't do it. Now, in our next championship match, it was tag team action in a Texas Tornado match, pitting limited edition LL and Money versus the Killer Goons, Big Mel, and the sponsored athlete, Jay the Masters. And Jay the Masters declared they were taking those titles. Oh, yeah. Him and Luscious Lucius were going back and forth. And Jay Masters, true to his word, took those titles by pinning Luscious Lucius. Like as if we didn't see that coming. I mean, heck, he took him from before. You know, wins and losses, although on the surface may not seem a lot, but they mean something to your psyche. We'll get into that in a little bit. As a matter of fact, we're getting to it right now. As the Lunatic, Aqua Regia, and Standard Starling J were engaged in a war of words that led to a grudge match and a no DQ falls count anywhere match that saw a vicious Tiger Driver 91 from the top rope onto a table for the win for the Lunatic Aqua Regia. That woke the crowd up, goddammit, shit. I'll tell you what. I mean, off the top rope onto a waiting set of tables and then just pinned it right there. That was the smartest thing. Pin it right there. I mean, false count anywhere. Now, in response to that, Starling Dre tried to blow it off like, big deal, you gotta win on me. See, and that right there, that's the true mark of me, and this is my personal opinion. I actually flipped me with talking about it. He kind of saw it. He kind of agreed with me on this one. Yes, the win is significant in that anytime that person faces you and they know they can beat you, that's the little motivation right there. I beat you once, I'll beat you again. The funny thing was, when you talk all that shit before the match, as for the match gets made, and you keep talking, I'm going to keep bugging you. And the person responds back, and then you say, leave me alone. You try to play the victim role. And then you can't even fight your own battle all by yourself. No, Jackson Aries started talking too. Look, take the loss like and gracefulness. I mean, dead ass. The lunatic beat you. She didn't need to beat you to be relevant. She's pretty relevant here in WPA. I mean, there's always somebody jawing at her. JP DiMaggio alone will mention her about 20 times somewhere down the line in a week. But it's amazing how the win isn't significant when you lose. But let you had won that match and you would have been talking mad shit about how you beat her. You don't fool us. We see right through you. Talk about on vacation. That must be your excuse for most of your matches then. Sorry. Every match means something. I mean, hell, you don't think Jalen Masters doesn't think that he can beat Jermaine Walker? I mean, I think in WPA lifetime, he's probably got the best record against Jermaine Walker. You know how long it was before Jermaine Walker was able to beat him? Hell, Money has the best record against Johnny Rocco. Johnny Rocco's only beaten him once. I'm guaranteed that's all it took was Johnny beating him once to know he could beat him, though. I mean, you sound... I mean, if that's the case, you know, then the Master should never, ever, ever face Big Mel. Never. Big Mel, and Big Mel said he will never lose to the Master Sean Puff. And it's so bad that the Master actually believes that. Loser mentality. I mean, dead ass. I mean, come on. I ain't saying you gotta congratulate your opponent for winning a match, Flip, but I'm saying you either say nothing or challenge him again. Or the next time you face him, if the asshole booker goes, hey, beat him. Because God forbid you have that same attitude and they know they can beat you and something's on the line, then tell me that match doesn't mean anything. I mean, look at the Master here. He beat Jermaine one goddamn time in WPA. Now he thinks he can beat him anytime. Never mind the other 3-4 times that Jermaine Walker beat him. Never mind that shit. One time. You know, because we like to conveniently forget the other times. You just pick it up at a certain point when you're one. Yeah, I'm gonna end my rant there before that voiceover guy comes on. Always interrupting me and shit. Now, in another grudge match, it was Dirty Dre versus Bobby Blaze, and this has been brewing over, and I don't think it's over, folks. I don't think it's hardly over, because the match ended in no contest when neither one could get up. They just literally knocked each other out. They couldn't finish the match. I mean, golly. I mean, it was literally, my friend, it was a weaponized cage match, and they had to be taken to a medical facility to be checked out. And from last report, they were okay. Probably use some medicinal stuff to heal. Who knows? But I'm pretty sure that's not over. And, you know, another thing that bugs me about that? Remember that time Starlin J was talking about Hey, what happened to trash talking and leading to a match? But got your wish. You could be building a very good rivalry right there, but no. Leave me alone. Playing the victim card. That just grinds my gears. You bet. Oh, Melvin was like literally just trashing her. Yeah. Caught her like trying to, I don't know. I can't repeat what he said. Now in the Triple Threat Championship match, it was Red Death versus Casper 2779 versus Lady Assassin. And Red Death, in his second defense of the Triple Threat title, was able to win, pinning Lady Assassin. Which leaves him with 2 more defenses. And he'll earn himself an Intercontinental Championship match. So, you know, this upcoming week, it will be Red Death versus the Idol Steve Sampson versus Chaos for the Triple Threat Championship. Now, our United States champion was involved in a TLC match, and it was the notorious JP DiMaggio, the champ, facing Quanny Fist. Nope, the man nobody wants to be pinned by. And folks, Quanny Fist won. That's crazy. That's mad crazy. And he is now our new United States champion. Wow. I mean, come on, folks. You gotta, I'm sorry. You gotta applaud that. As much crap as we give Quanny Fist, I told y'all before, he is a former champ in his own right. So there's always that threat, whether you like to be pinned by him or not. But I felt bad for JP though. He was doing great. He was. No, I'm sorry. He was on the road to being a really good champ for the U.S. title. Yeah, especially that last match for him and the First Lady. That was one hell of a match. But hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, JP DiMaggio has nothing to be ashamed of. He fought his ass off to defend that title. You know, normally I would say he sucks, but no. I can't even lie. He had an impressive run with that thing. He will be back. If not for the U.S. title, he'll be back with gold around his waist again. I'm sorry. I got nothing negative to say. I mean, yeah, he convinced me. Now, if he goes on a losing streak, that's a different story, but shit happens. As long as then we'll call him Desdemona. Now, in an IC title match, South Bronx Savage and Nurka Hante fought and ran out of time, which was the only way that match was going to end because they tried to kill each other in that Broadway street fight. What? I couldn't remember what it was. Dude, that asshole booker put so many damn names on these matches. Yeah. Now, in a match that we had to travel to Fairfield, Birmingham Asylum for this match. And it was Johnny Rocco of Sinister versus David the Beast Smith of Sinister. And at one point, it looked like the Beast was going to win until Johnny Rocco whipped out a cooler and started pouring beast wires on the floor. And like he was trying to piss off the Beast. And it distracted them enough that Johnny Rocco was able to sneak up behind him and catch him with the Annihilator out of nowhere. And another week, Johnny Rocco survives. No, Johnny Rocco is the world champ. What do you mean you thought someone named Eric was the champ? No, who the hell is Eric? What? You talking about the admin guy? He doesn't even wrestle. Because Luscious Lucy said Eric was... No. Why do you listen to anything that guy says? It's all just fucked up narrative to make himself look good. Yeah. He didn't even hold on to his title. That's how relevant it is. You know, it's so relevant we forgot to talk about it one time that they were even in a match. Now, in the main event, I know you're saying, how could this be the main event? Why wasn't the World Championship the main event? That's because Johnny Rocco didn't want to be the main event. He wanted to watch Tag Team Turmoil, because in Tag Team Turmoil, it was Jermaine Walker and James Altrez versus Martel the Carpenter and the Darkstalker. Now, there was so much talking going on. And for once, it wasn't even really from Jermaine Walker's side. The Darkstalker brought up the fact that Jermaine Walker has not pinned him. And Like and Rumors was even talking trash. He wasn't even involved in the match. He brought up something Jermaine Walker said about the order. Bad move, folks. Because Jermaine Walker took that personally and pinned the Darkstalker to become a 2-time Tag Team Turmoil winner. Yeah, the match started off slow until they started talking trash. Yeah, why would you motivate Jermaine Walker to just come out and beat you? The funny thing is, it wasn't even Martel that got pinned. But even though they lost, Martel and Darkstalker are stuck with each other for another week, as they will be going after the Tag Team Championships. And can you imagine if they win? Ooh, boy. That means the Darkstalker and Martel will be forever linked until they lose the titles. Speaking of titles, we have title matches already announced for this week. And like I said, the WPA Triple Threat Championship will be on the line with Red Death taking on the Idol Steve Sampson and Chaos. In the WPA Tag Team Championship, it will have Killer Goons, Big Mel, and the sponsored athlete Jalen Masters versus Martel the Carpenter and the Darkstalker. Jermaine Walker will finally be putting his television title on the line in a triple threat match as he takes on Katz and Corey, 1/3 of the Trios champions, and Crusher LB. Yeah, speaking of which, Flip, run me my money. Oh, yeah. Thank you. I told you Jermaine Walker and James Altrez were going to win that. You didn't want to believe me, did you? You just had to have faith, didn't you, George Michael? Huh? You just had to have faith. Told you. Jermaine Walker was not going to lose that. Not when Martel, not anywhere Martel is concerned. Now, our WPA Intercontinental Champion will also be in action as South Bronx Savage will be taking on Mac Blakely. That should be one banger of a match, I hope. And in the WPA World Championship, it'll be Johnny Rocco taking on James Altrez. You know, if Johnny Rocco wins this and goes on to face Jermaine Walker, this will be a first. Normally when they face each other, Jermaine has the world title. Johnny Rocco's never defended a title against Jermaine Walker. I wonder how that'll turn out. But first, he needs to get past James Altress. And going back to what I said, you beat somebody, it kind of weighs on your mind. It could do one of two things to you. For one person, they reevaluate, what mistakes did I make when I faced him last time? They try to avoid those mistakes, and they could wind up winning. For another person, it's like, well, I beat him the last time. Tweak a little bit of my game plan here. Go on. Works on both sides, folks. But, folks, that is all we have. Stay tuned, as Philip will be coming up to give his pick of the week. And, folks, as always, hug your loved ones. Don't drink and drive. And pick up the phone and call that friend. They might need to hear your voice. Could be a saving factor in their life. I'm Johnathan T. Rokford. That's Flip. Deuces. So, Flip, you see what I'm talking about, how ludicrous that was, though, right? I mean, come on. You lost. Take it like a champ. Yeah. It's always an excuse for people in this league. They start some shit, then they lose. They can't back it up. Next thing you know, oh, that match didn't matter. What? Yeah, I know Jermaine Walker did it, but he had a reason for that. I mean, come on. But he admitted he lost, But he's like, yeah, you beat me, but you can't beat me when it counts. That was the motivation. Here in WPA, we don't talk about other leagues. Yeah, no, fuck that shit. No.
Hello, WPA. I hope you had a good weekend. I know I did. I will say that selecting someone this week was rather difficult, and it was not because there were a lot of impressive performances, although there was a very nice, strong comeback from the eventual tag team turmoil winners. But there was nothing that really stood out, so I had to go back and watch the tapes. And some may say, well, look at my record, look at this, look at that. All your record tells me is that you won or you lost. That's it. How many times did you win? How many times did you lose? It doesn't tell me if you were impressive or not. That is why I'm here. You see, I watched the crowd as it yawned in the ultimate boredom for most of the matches. But as Johnathan stated earlier, there was one moment that woke the crowd up, and it also impressed me, and that was the act of the lunatic Aqua Regia. And she is my pick of the week. regardless of what you may say, all wins, whether or not who it is, are somewhat irrelevant. Now, for a win to be irrelevant, that would mean that the opponent that lost was not relevant at all. And although we may agree that most people will say that Starlin J is merely a former shell of herself, the win was somewhat significant to the lunatic, in that it erased a blemish on her record courtesy of Starlin J, and it showed her that she can defeat her. You know, since Starlin J lost her IC title a while back, she's been hanging in purgatory. Meanwhile, the lunatic has improved. The lunatic actually made the top 10. The lunatic is going to have some very interesting matches. I've watched as she busts her ass to improve week to week, to prove that she's no easy mark, that you're not just going to beat her, you're going to have to fight her. You know, it's very easy to diminish a win when you're on the losing end of said win. True mark of a champion is to come back and rectify that situation. But the way the lunatic won her match is what impressed me. Not the care given for her own safety. She showed she would do anything to defeat Starlin J. I saw it. The crowd saw it. And the exclamation point of crashing through a table just amplified that. So she is my pick of the week. And tomorrow I shall begin my list, my top 10. Who will be on it? I may choose no one that I've picked this month. I may choose two. I may choose someone who lost the match, but yet was very impressive indeed in the match. What will I do? I guess we shall have to wait and see. But until then, folks, I wish you a good day. I said good day.